Oh, and you mentioned Pat Helms, and he drove the school bus.
Yes.
When H.N. Ackerman was the superintendent, and I got elected to the school board because it was a real tough race. Nobody else would run for it. And Mary Jane Nussbaum,
Yes.
she was the secretary to H.N. Ackerman.
Frank Kitchen.
And such a lovely lady. And just for everybody, to kind of put things in perspective, H.N. Ackerman, the school is named for him. He was a wonderful superintendent. I was on the school board. He was paid $5,000 a year to be the superintendent of Boone County Schools. Now it's a couple $100,000. Okay, just put things in perspective.
Yes.
Mary Jane was right across the street.
Is she there?
Yeah.
Oh, bless her heart. She was such a wonderful girl.
Yeah, she's still,
You were
still
talking
can
about
talk
the
yarn.
places
Yeah.
where they worked around here. You know, some of them power plant up here at I can remember Henry Deck, and there was the other man that carried his. Yeah, there was 2 or 3 of them, but they would carry their boat motors on their shoulder all the way up to Lawrenceburg Ferry Road, where their boats were, little John boats. Put that motor on and go across the river and work all day and come back, park their boat, the motor on their shoulder, and walk all the way downtown, back home. And it's about, going up the river here is probably about 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles.
But then the river wasn't as high as this.
No,
So they put in Dam 38, that made it quite a bit higher than that when they put in Markman, that really raised it up.
you used to go down the Aurora Ferry Lane, and it was just like a nice sandy beach. Any place in the world you want to go, you could walk out for just 100 yards or more, and just nothing but pure sand, and you could swim out there. It was beautiful. My aunt swam across the river several times between here and Aurora here back. Good swimmer.
The coal yard, I just asked about that.
Oh, yeah.
And they brought it up from the river.
They did.
I mean,
Had their little trolley.
the trolley that.
Off the barges.
Well, they did that up there for just, what, 9 or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And they finally took it down because then somebody get on that, hurt themselves.
Yeah. I remember that.
The well is still down there. Becky, you know, his daughter, Becky Lancaster, her husband, they own the well now. Because he's the water man.
Does anyone know anything about the Indians that settled in Petersburg?
Well,
Some
now,
evidence?
well, we try to have a little day down here about, and all these people from the county came down and they said, well, you know, they wanted us to do this little thing like make brooms and had this little, all this kind of stuff. I said, well, that's not our heritage. Our heritage is the Indians and the river. And they said, no, we can't say nothing about the Indians. Since Mr. Hopecraft, they tore the house down here on Front Street. And then when his son started building and dug out the foundation, they found so many skeletons down there. No one's allowed to mention that anymore. Because there was so much. I don't even know what they did with them. Do you know what to do with them, Bruce?
No, I don't.
They ought to be back down here in Petersburg and buried back there.
They were Fort Ancient Indians. They dated anywhere from 800 to 1200 AD.
I know we bought our property up there, Denny, used to go up there, and he had all kind of little pottery and all that on top of the hill.
They were moved to Ohio, they had a ceremony for them and everything.
Oh, didn't they?
We buried.
Well, now tell me this, is this true or not true? That one time they had a little town up here about where Marilyn Peters lived, and they called it Bucktown, and it was black people. And they put them all on the ferry to go over to the fair in Indiana, and then they burnt their houses. Is that true? This one tells that, and I don't know if it's really true or not. So that's how they got them out. Anybody else have anything to say?
Do you know anything about that house that's way up on the hill?
Oh, yeah.
That gorgeous mansion on
Bruce
something?
knows about that.
Well, presently called Berkshire House, am I correct on that?
The Creation Museum has bought that. They really make it into a bed and breakfast.
Wow. You know, coming down and looking, have they bought it now? It
Yes,
looks
and
in
they
such
just
good shape.
recently put water up the hill.
But that was originally the distiller built the distillery that was here.
See, when you go over to Indiana to the, Hill Forest?
Yes.
Those people over there are connected with this or something.
That's right.
Just so we got all hysterical, because when we bought the house down there, everything was overgrown, so that we had chicken coops and little houses we didn't even know until we started clearing out. And then in the back, they had all this old stuff, and I have all these letters from Samuel Langtree to his wife. And he was a salesman for the Aurora Brewery Company over in the Crescent Brewing Company over in Aurora. Now they have a restaurant by that name over there, and I always want to go over there and ask them if they have any other history. But you can tell his whole life by what he wrote in the letters. And she saved them all, like he would write, I know you're busy with the children, but could you possibly find time to write me?
In answer to your question, 2 riverboat captains made a bet that they could build the better house. And there's a flat stretch as you go out of Petersburg. There's a big house on the left. That was one riverboat captain, and this was the other. I'll take the flats, you take the hill.
Well, that's Captain John Moore.
Where Dukes live, is this house up there, Mr. Gerald?
At the end of the ferry.
John Snar.
Bill Burns' place.
I don't know who decided who won, though.
This house had a tunnel up here that runs to the river. They used to run slaves down Petersburg. It's still there, but you can't get into it now.
Yeah,
Closed it off.
It would be interesting to know when steamboats came down here.
Well, when you go in there, upstairs, they still have the little box where you watch your tickets and things. But I don't know, I think because it was a store at the bottom, that's where Smith's store was at the bottom. And upstairs now when Freddie Heimbrock was here, he redid the whole upstairs into an apartment. His family lived upstairs, he had a sewing factory in the downstairs. But now somebody else lives up there and rents it out. But they said they still have the little thing where you buy the tickets when you go up the stairs.
It also used to be a bowling alley up there.
Oh, did it?
We used to have a doctor's now,
Oh, yeah.
right down the street.
Yeah, Dr. Love. See, that was way before my time.
Watch it.
I was at direct disadvantage. I mean, I was in Horton, Kent.
Right.
So, I mean, some people were more qualified to get the speech than I was, but they were just too big of a
You
job.
did a good job.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Good job.
But I'm done, whatever y'all.